Yo, it's Rapture. Be live in just a couple minutes. Got the screen up in the background, the BTC chart up in the background with the New York opening bell. 3 minutes. Oh. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. There we go. We got the New York opening bell. So loud. Let's see what the New York opening has for us today. Music down in a moment. Just gonna monitor price action here. So it goes off live. Yo, how's everybody doing this morning, this Friday morning? Gonna get the show going in just a few moments, monitoring the live price action for the New York Open. So let's switch time frames, see what's happening on the 1 minute. As we get this underway, I just gotta get my obligatory posts and shares sent around, and then we'll fire this up. Just give me a few moments. Hope everyone is doing well. Good morning. Is everybody surviving? Everybody survived the big sell-off over the last several days. Hopefully you've been following along. You know we've had an overall bearish bias for a while, but we just trade the levels, right? We just trade the levels. Finishing up one last thing I have to post, and then we'll be rocking live one moment. Not a bad move off of the open. Well, let's pull up the indicators and see what price is doing here. What are we interacting with? There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that nice and clear. I'll turn the music down a bit more as well. Don't want it distracting. It's just nice to have a little vibe in the background. Not sitting in silence. Oh. Okay, the posts are out. There we go. Close up a few windows, conserve resources on my trading computer. Yo, what's up, everybody? Let's check the chat real quick. Let me get rid of this banner. We're now live. Checking the chat. JJ, what's good, my homie? How are you today? Surviving, I hope. CT has been in a bit of state of despair with the massive dumping that took place over the last couple of days. Pretty significant moves. All right, let's take a look at our high time frame chart. Here's the 12-hour. We got alerts firing off. Ooh, potential H4 SFP underway on ETH. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. M15 on BTC. We'll take a look at these in a bit. Welcome, everybody. It's Rapture Scalp and Swing Sessions number 11. The New York Open Show, where we focus on live trade setups and low time frame execution, mostly on BTC, but we'll take a look at ETH, Sol. We'll take a look at the market hot coin right now, Hype. And don't forget, these sessions are brought to you by the good folks over at BingX. You can sign up with my ref code Rapture and get yourself some deposit bonuses. We're going to take a look at the BingX trading terminal today too. I've been playing around with it a little bit. I'm excited to fire off some trades with it. There's some feature in it. See, I'm used to trading on dexes, right? I'm mostly a on-chain perps dex trader. I haven't used the sex in a while, but I've been playing around with this. There's some things that make your life easier. Some of the order types that we'll get into in particular that help my style of trading. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Just remember, process, patience, execution. We're waiting for those high time frame levels Looking for those low time frame interactions to get our execution on. Let's pull the BTC chart back up and see what's taking place. We'll go down to the lower time frames. Nice move off the open, right? Like, where were we here? New York Open was here. Like, the actual opening bell was here. Nice move up. We can take a look at the H1 breaker. The only long setup I saw on BTC that I shared last night. Shared it first in my Telegram channel. If you are not a member there, go and subscribe to Rapture's Tradebook. It is a free Telegram channel where I post charts a lot more frequently than I do here on Twitter. Well, depending on where you're joining me, you might be joining me on YouTube, and you can find the link to my Rapture's Tradebook in the description for this video, or in the link, or the link is in my bio on Twitter. Rapture's Tradebook. Come and join me, because that is where I share charts a lot more frequently, as well as my thoughts about the market. So make sure you do that. But we shared last night. I was like, if for some reason you are compelled to be long and you think that you're going to miss the bottom, what's the trade that I see? Well, this is it. Let's get rid of the indicator for a second so you can take a look and see. This was the first H1 hourly market structure break we have had since February 2nd, when price was up around 78K. This was the first higher high on hourly. Until then, we've been downtrending. But that in itself, just a market structure break in and of itself, is not a trade for me, especially on low time frames like H1. What we got first was we put in an H1 SFP, right? Let me just hide this for a moment. H1 SFP. Now this is a low time frame trade, right? We have not taken out a high time frame level, that high time frame monthly level on BTC from the previous cycle high, right? Let's bring this over here for a second, right? For those of you that have been following around, right? We had this, we had this line, and then when we started to breach below, I was like, you know what? Let's drop a new line. New line, who dis? And I added that 2021 monthly all-time high close level, the first all-time high close level, because to me that was the high. This is just the double top, right? So I had that level, and we can see how important that level was after, right? Above, close back below, underside tested, boom. Above, swiped, swept the level, held the level. That was the bull run, right? Like, this was still just attempting to recapture these. But once we flipped that, that's when we had phase 2 of the bull run. Well, I mean, we're officially and have officially been in a bear market for a little while now, but that's okay. We trade the market both ways, right? We're all about taking trades in either direction. It doesn't matter if the market is bullish or bearish. We find trades both ways. We use our high time frame levels. We use our low time frame execution so that we can trade the market both ways in a more neutral or fluid stance, right? If you have like a very dogmatic view of where you think the market has to go, like, yes, high time frame, we were trending down, but in between there, every single day, there are trades both ways. And that's what I'm all about, catching those intraday moves so that something like this, if you're bullish, a move like this doesn't devastate you. You know, you don't want your entire life to be just thinking about what the fuck the market's doing. You want to, at least for me, do your business, finish up for the day, and not let the direction affect your life, your mental state, your happiness, right? There was a time where it did. And, you know, the people in my family will tell you that my mood was dramatically affected by what was going on in the market. But I don't like living like that. Anyways, so new line who dis, I dropped it a couple days ago. Once we breached there, I was like, you know what? Immediately my eye is drawn to here. Well, we got within striking distance. We got within less than $1,000 there before putting in a bounce. And last night I shared, I was like, you know what? This is a logical place to me for the sell-off to pause and for a local low to be set. And at that point, there wasn't a trade yet at that point. But then a little later, yesterday evening, I was monitoring the chart as I do. And this stood out to me. We could put in an H1 SFP. So that's a low time frame signal, right? That's not a high time frame level. So I said outright, I was like, it is a lower, not a lower probability, but it's a lower tier setup because it's a low time frame SFP. But you got that H1 SFP. We got the swing high that created that SFP, broke above, creating our breaker. We got the market structure break above, and I said, well, this is your long. This is the only long I can see on BTC right now. Stop below there. I said if it starts to reach down into some of the below the previous day low, I said maybe you probably cut early just to save yourself. Well, breaker held. H1 breaker held. It's exactly what I thought would happen, that over the next couple of days that we're going to sort of drift upwards, but that ultimately this level here is going to get taken. Maybe it's going to happen over the weekend in a lower volume, lower volatility regime as we tend to get over the weekends, but who knows? Or maybe we're going to get a better relief over the weekend. I don't know. Right? I don't like to predict. I just like to see what the levels are telling me. Now, one thing that I do know is we've now set our H4 swing low. H12 is yet to be set because this candle isn't closed yet, but we're pretty confident, unless we get some sort of nuke during the session right now, that that's going to be the H12. But we have our H4. We had a level there that we're now above, so we're trending upwards away from the H1 breaker. Good signs, right? But I think what I'd ultimately like, if we're putting out, this is a big F because this has been a long, drawn out, dramatic sell-off. That's a big move, right? What's that analogy that some guys like to use? It's the big ships turn slowly, right? We've done a big, dramatic, full market move, right? Like this is every single time frame is involved with this move now because monthly, I'll be honest, the monthly structure looks fucked. I pointed out the other day that oops. Breaching below this is the first time now we're nowhere near the close, right? It's still more than 2/3 of the month left. We can repair this. If this ends up as a giant monthly SFP, that would be quite fucking bullish, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that is what's going to happen. We'll just react to the varying scenarios. But this breach below here, throughout BTC's history, at least in terms of the Nance Perps chart. Let me change this music for a second. Let me switch it up. There we go. A little bit more chill in the background so you guys can not get distracted. In BTC's chart existence, at least in terms of the Binance Perps chart, the USDT monthly structure has never broken. Well, this would be the first time in its existence that it would. This breach below is the first time something like that has happened. Let me just show you what I mean. We're going to walk through market structure. So this was a low. It SFP'd that low. So yes, it did SFP a low. Never closed below. So that's a low. We're just going to walk through all these so that you guys can see. Right? That was a monthly low. This was a monthly swing low. The swing high. This was within this range. This was not a new high. This was just an SFP within the primary monthly range. This was all just the range. It never broke structure. You got a new high. This was the low that created that high. This was your new monthly range. I'm just walking you through so you can see. Just walk with me. Just walk with me. This is our new range. Then we broke above that, a fresh higher high again. This was your swing low. This was your swing high. Then we did that again. Swing low, swing high. Now walk backwards in time with me. Did any of those swing lows ever get violated? First of all, no. They didn't even get touched, let alone close below. Well, this is a very obvious change in character of the chart, where we're well below the monthly range low. Now, you guys know that for me, monthly, it's all about the close levels. That's why this level is marked out. That level, that level, that level, that level. Well, this is an obvious change. It's very clear. Now, we could get back above there and close the month as an SFP. That would be bullish as fuck, but I don't know if that's going to happen. There's a lot of exogenous circumstances, right, driving the market. A lot of shit been going down. So we're not going to pretend that that's what's happening. We're just going to play what we're being given. All right, monthly, weekly. This was that, right? I pointed out in that post yesterday, I was like, we want to target this level, that monthly level. Well, look how close we got. We got 1.5% away. It was less than $1,000 away from that level. I still think that level is going to get taken out. But we're getting a little bit of relief bounce. We've set an H4 swing low. Here's our next levels of interest for potential shorts. I'm going to likely clean all this up, like get rid of a bunch of those levels. They seem a lot less relevant now, but they're still there because I have yet to fully clean them out yet. How are you all doing? How's everybody doing? Is this view like this large enough, or you don't want me to make it full screen? That doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. I'm sure the big X folks like seeing their logo there. DCB says, what's up, Rapture? What's up, my dude? Dead cat bounce in the house. Met DCB during my time in the stable. Great lad, very smart, very on point, knows his shit, has a great read on the markets. We approach it from a different strategy and system, but we often arrive at similar conclusions. So what's up, DCB? Respect you being here. If you're not, go follow the homie DCB. He's also got a Telegram channel as well, where he shares more about alts. I don't really focus on alts. You guys know that I'm mostly focused on BTC. Well, if you're looking for trade setups and opportunities on alts, as well as BTC, go check out Dead Cat Bounce's Telegram channel. Moonar, GM buddy, what's good? Thank you for being here. You're one of my day one ride or die homies from back my old live stream series, Rapture's Astrology for Men. Old school crowd will know what's up with that. Okay. Let's take a look here. What do we got going on? Let's drop down to our lower time frames, pop up the indies, see what we got going on. So we're riding the M1, the minute trend, right? We flipped that H4 level. Let's see what else is going on. 15. Okay, so we're into the M15 H4 EMA 200, right? We crossed over the MA 100. We're into the EMA 200 on M15. Likely spot for a pullback. Do I have a trade there at the moment? No, there's nothing is setting up here, right? Like this would have been a nice long. Into the EMA, putting in a potential sweep of the H4 level from a top side with the market sell, large market sell bubble into there. There would have been a long. Well, I don't have anything here at the moment, so we're just going to chill until we see something, right? I don't like to force anything. Now, what am I seeing here? I could probably turn off some of these levels so that it's not so bunched. Where's the previous week low? It's there. Weekly open is there. Probably the weekly open, but I can probably get rid of the Monday high, just so it's not as compressed. There we go. So we can see a little bit clearer. We've got our session levels. We got Asian low, Asian high, London low, London high. Where's the Asian high then? Oh, it's the same spot. Asian high and London high are the same. Interesting. All right, so we had that sweep into the Asian and London high, top side retest, into the EMA 200 with the market sell bubble. That's a pretty easy layup long. Well, I'm not going to chase. We're going to see what happens here. Are we setting a potential New York high? I don't know. Checking on other time frames. Okay, so M5 is starting to put in a lot of market bubbles, a lot of market buy bubbles, a lot of late aggressive buyers there. Well, they may not be late because we have broke above that H4 level. Possible M5 SFP with the bubbles into the M15 EMA 200, right? So some pieces are starting to line up. Let's zoom this stuff out so you guys can see. I really wish the resolution from my main workstation monitor was better when streaming so you guys could see much larger what's going on here. Because even for me, it's like so cramped looking at it here. Okay, let's do this for now. Get rid of that. There we go. Now you can see a little bit better. Okay, so you can see we're into the M15 EMA 200, putting in an M5 SFP here. Into a possible New York high, we'll find out. Why does this keep going off? There we go. Market bubbles on the buy side, right? That's that aggressive market activity, not limit orders, but markets. Into the M15 EMA 200. What are we over here? And the H1 EMA 50, right? The H1 EMA 50 and the M15 EMA 200 is the same thing, right? Moving averages are fractals on time frames. Hourly has reclaimed the short EMAs, the fast EMAs, the 13, the 21. First underside test on the H1 into the EMA 50 cents. Since the 3rd, when price was at 78K, right? Once it lost it, erode the fast EMAs down. Well, now this is the first pop up. This is a logical spot for it. For this to cool. But the distance to where this would be a short too, right? Like we've got a lot of support coming up. Yeah, I don't love this as a short at the moment, even from a scalp perspective, because the distance is really small. Look at what you're dealing with here, right? You had an M15 SFP here and an M15 breaker, a bullish breaker, when it flipped that, right? So you're not going to get much out of that because this likely holds. I think we say to ourselves, let's try and find a long here. Yeah, I think we say to ourselves, right, we've got the recapture of the M5 trend, right? Right in that M5 trend. The M5 trend aligns with inside of that M15 breaker, right? I don't think you want to short this. It just doesn't seem like there's much meat to capture there. So what we'll do is we'll sit here on the M1. Let's see if we can get something into here. Let's see if we can get deeper pullback into here. Some sort of M1 SFP into some of these averages. Let's monitor this here. H1 breaker holding. All right. It's not a bad move, but it makes sense to me that we'd see a bit of a pullback here from here. Overall, our high time frame bias remains. We are in a downtrending market, but I think over the coming days, this is a floor that's been set here. I do think this eventually gets taken out, that monthly level. But I think for now, you're better to be looking for intraday long scalps rather than trying to short this at the moment. Because ultimately, what I'd really love to do, I would love, if we're going to be setting in a local low for, maybe several days or whatnot, or maybe even a bit longer, weeks, I would love price to come down. This is likely going to be the H12 swing low. I would like price to come down. Do something like this, take out that level, get back above this right here, set up like this. That makes more sense. A setup like this, taking out that monthly level, this could lead to a multi-week reversal, right? We're not going to delude ourselves into thinking we're going to have a big turn and reverse the overall market trend, but this could turn into, all right, because I think what's going to happen over these over the next while is, if we're going to put in a local low, potentially a mid time frame, like a multi-week low, it's going to end up chopping and ranging for a while. It's not just going to V reversal all the way up. I don't think that would be healthy either. I think what needs to happen is we need to form a base that could, take out to the downside, take out to the upside. Who knows? It could go lower after that. I don't know, right? Like, I've seen some people calling for like 50 to 30K. I don't know. I'm not going to entertain that right now. But I do think this aggressive of a move, it ends up resolving over weeks, well, months most likely, right? All right, so say this is the H12 low that gets set. This candle tonight at the close in about 9 hours. Say this closes somewhere up here, gives us that swing low. I would really love to SFP that H12 low, take out the monthly level. Then I'd be much comfier, more of a swing type long position. Okay, so we can see we're pushing off that EMA 200 on the M15. Come on, pull back into here. Let's see what we got. Let's open up the M1. See what we're getting. Also want to walk us through the BingX trading terminal. They hooked me up with a live account for me to use on stream. And I have it set up that many of you may have it set up, right? Like you don't want to have your full capital amount on any exchange. It's never a good idea. But you might put 10K, you might put $1,000, depending on what your bankroll size is, right? You just dial the like I like 10x. I like 10x leverage. Regardless of what your account size is, 10x is it's a good leverage amount, right? Like it gives you the leeway that you're not going to get liquidated, but also allows you to not leave large amounts on exchange. But they hooked me up with a live account. Shout out to the BangX team. I'm going to pull that up and show you guys the terminal because it's actually, I haven't used this section in a long time, and it's pretty sleek. Okay, let's see here. Starting to come down into the area. See what kind of reaction we get down into here. Keeping an eye on M5, right? M5 SFP bubbles into there. Ultimately looking for that M15 breaker, some sort of response in there. Since this was at H4, let's do this. There we go. Check in with the chat. How you all doing? Is there anything you guys want me to take a look at today? Any alts or anything? Actually, let's take a look. What are the alerts going off? See what we've been having. So ETH's been putting in H4 SFP. Some M15 SFPs on BTC. Getting those market sells. So this 922, was that here? Yeah, it was exactly here. See how useful this is? Setting up your alerts. Let's clean this up so that the list isn't overrun with alerts. That H4 BTC SFP was negated because we are above the H4 level. Now, if we get back below here, then the H4 SFP is back in play. But at the moment, that's not what we're dealing with. Clean some of these up. Yes, it's a lot of alerts that go off, but when I'm focused trading BTC, when I'm focused at my desk for my office hours, you'll notice that the majority of these alerts are all BTC. It's because that's what I predominantly trade. Yes, I have H4 alerts for ETH and SOL as well, and we'll take a look at the ETH chart to see what that H4 SFP is all about. And then if there's an alt in particular that I'm monitoring, right? There's potential H1 back at 8:30 this morning. Let's check in on the M15 here. Is there an M15 SFP? When was this from? Oh, this was 9:35. Oh, it was when it was breaching here. It was putting in a possible SFP. Well, that's no longer the case. Let's take a look at ETH for a second. And Moonar says, check hype when you can, because why not? Any alt that I occasionally take a look. Any alt that what do you mean by that? You mean it's the only alt that you occasionally take a look at? Let's take a look at ETH. What is this H4? Okay, so there it is, right? Get rid of that. There it is. So H4 possible SFP underway. Let's take a look at the ETH chart for a second. Oof. Okay. Well, another market structure break here. But the whole market did, right? Like saying oof about ETH, it just doesn't matter, right? The whole market shut the bed. Well, this is no longer valid. Because we don't know where the swing low is yet. Is there anything into here? Let's take a look at monthly. It's a gnarly monthly chart, right? Like, just brutal. Munar saying, yeah, he mostly focuses on BTC, but he occasionally looks at hype. Well, we'll take a look at hype in a moment. It has been the strong coin, or as Ryan likes to say, the the port in the storm, right? The market likes to find that one or two assets to rally behind, even when the shit is hitting the fan, and they tend to do well. Well, ETH is not looking great here. Like if I'm looking, so I've had these 3 levels. I don't know, a very long time. I can't even tell you how long. But if I'm looking lower, like where would I look as the next? I think you'd say here, right? Well, it took it out. That's interesting. That is interesting. There's also here. I'm just looking for the relevant levels. That was one, but is this one more important? Look at how many interactions that level's had, right? I would venture to say that if BTC still has one more stab down, then that's the level on ETH you're looking at. Let's go to weekly. Yeah. Nothing really there. Nothing really there to write home about. There's your weekly supply zone. Take a look at daily. I mean, it's just like everything else, right? Everything looks like shite right now. Let's move this supply. This here. There's your next likely lower high on ETH. We don't have a swing low yet. On daily, H12 likely swing low in the process. Let's put up a few levels that I can see on H12 that may become important. Well, I've got this here. There's that. Okay. Just adjusting levels here. Things that I see that may become important in the future. Okay, well, that's that potential SFP on ETH that's taking place right now on the H4. There's another level here that I would monitor. It's possibly a good level to look for interaction in the future. We also have our H4 swing low set. All right, there's our H4 range, swing high to swing low. Almost the midpoint of that, right? Let's fit that for a second. Let's take a look. Where is that in relation to the 50%? It's just above the 50%. It's currently above it. Potentially be another one there. Might be a nice long as if it takes that out in the next, 2 or 3 candles. Or sometime over the weekend. I'll draw that line once this sets, though. We'll see what happens here on the close. Let's see. We get an M15 H4. Okay, well, if you're looking for a short, I don't know if you're looking for a short right now, but if you're looking for a short, if the M15 closes below there, there's your H4, right? If this closes as an SFP and then gets below there, there's your breaker. Take a look at M5. Yeah, it's the same box on M5, so you can't really get much tighter. Go M1, see what's going on. Okay, so M1, if the H4 closes as SFP, that is an SFP. We do have an M1 breaker here. It's already confirmed the breaker. I wouldn't try stepping in front of this though, unless you actually confirm that H4 SFP. And right now we're not. We're above the SFP level. We'll come back to that. Let's take a look at Solana, see what Solana's been saying. Decent move up there. Let's go to daily. Let's take a look at weekly first. All right, like the monthly on Solana, as soon as it lost this level that had been holding since March 24. But where does this go? Where does this go to? Right? Like maybe this is... Did it tag that? No, it came close though. I don't know. That seems insane. That seems insane, but who knows, right? It's not about predicting. It's just about having those levels ready in the event of interaction sometime in the future. What's up, everybody? How you all doing? We'll get to hype in a moment, Lunar. Don't worry. We will get to hype. Let's keep looking at Sol. So here's the monthly. Let's go on a weekly. Get rid of this because it's not currently relevant. Put up. All right, like weekly SFPs, how important are those? Boom, right? Even outlined the breaker on that one a few weeks ago when it happened on one of the previous live sessions now. Okay, so that's kind of interesting, right? That is kind of interesting. It's taken out a weekly. It's taken out a weekly, though. That's kind of interesting. That intrigues me. Let's see. The H12 breaker is fucking retarded wide, though. Like, I can't even do anything with that. I'm just marking out some levels, seeing what we got. This was another MSB level on daily. Switch that to just an internal swing level. Oh, this is supply here. That's daily supply. Let's put H12, see what we got. H4, what do we got going on here? So let's just clean some of this up. We have our H4 swing low. H4 swing low is set. H4 swing high is here. Area of H4 supply in there. This is a tough one because if we're seeing that weekly SFP, you can see that there. A meaningful time frame that you want a market structure break on isn't going to be like anything below H4. The thing that I see on H4 is as soon as we flip that, we're right up into the daily supply. It's a tough spot. I think we want to take out one more thing lower so that we get an area that we can outline as a market structure break and breaker on H4 from somewhere in here so that we can actually define a trade off of here. Because once we get up into here and we're into daily supply, I don't want to be longing from there. I know we're more about low time frames on these particular shows, but I'm just trying to see what's around because I don't really see a trade yet on, well, we'll check back in BTC in a moment, but this is our current H4 range. Took out that weekly level as an SFP. What I would love, like, hear me out, because it's Friday. We know that volatility drops, volumes drop. Let's say that over the next today and then tomorrow, we keep putting in some price action like this, right? And we fully flush that out. Recapture like that. This would be what I would want. This would be your H4. Right? This is what I want. Because then we have something to long into. If we're flipping this right into daily supply, that's the last place I want to be taking it long. All right, so maybe it looks like this. This is the optimal scenario. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Like, I can't predict, I just react. And this would be an A+ setup, right? Take out that low, give us a reasonable H4 swing high that we can use as the breaker for the weekly SFP if it can hold this level. Right? This is the weekly level. That's the one caveat, right? Like, it has to hold above this at the Sunday close, at the weekly close, 7 p.m. ET or midnight UTC. That's the thing that that's the caveat about it, right? But give me some low volume, boring price action later tonight and through Saturday. Give me like after the Saturday close, just give me a, right? Just like Asia pushes it, puts in an SFP off this, which will then be an H12 swing low. Give me an H4 level that I can use as a breaker. Hold the weekly as SFP, long the shit out of that. If this, then that, right? Like we're not just going to blindly long anything, but that's what I would like to see. Because once we're up here, like as it stands right now, the H4 breaker, if we're going to use this, this is the H4 breaker. It has not confirmed, meaning we haven't had a market structure break. Now, what we could do is say an H4 swing high sets somewhere here, then we can adjust this to a market structure shift style breaker, but we just don't have that yet. So I can't, like, these are the possible scenarios. As it stands right now, though, if you're going to use this with a market structure break, which especially off of a weekly level and such an aggressive sell-off, I really want a break and not just a shift. But as it stands right now, to achieve that, the market structure break for H4 is a close up here, which puts us right into daily supply, right? Which probably does something like this before doing this. So then what good is, that's not a good trade to me. The risk reward on that is just shit. That's why I'm saying I would really like, and if you're bullish, this is what you would prefer, is some sort of move to take out this low, put in the H4 reversal, market structure break, get a retest into there, hold the weekly level as an SFP, then you have something that can give you a, an actual decent swing. Let's check back on. I'll leave that drawn up there. I don't really look at the Sol chart that often, but we'll pop back to that later. Let's take a look and see if this, okay, so the H4 SFP on ETH is still holding. Now we can come down to M15, right? This was our breaker. On M1, we've had the breaker, right? This was the M1 breaker right here. This was your M1 breaker. Close below, retested into it. But now that we're actually below the H4, and it's still 40 minutes to the H4 close though, right? Like this could slow grind back up into here and negate the H4 SFP, and then like this wasn't a very clear setup, and it was risky because there was, well, you had market bubbles on the buy side into the H4 level, closed above, but then we're getting SFPs into the bullish SFPs into the averages. This was not a clear short to me. But you have to take into consideration also timing, right? And if the H4 candle was still a ways to close, it could very easily close above. Look at that aggressive, look at how aggressive the selling has been on the H4 through this whole move down, right? Like shorters have been rewarded. This whole like late shorters slapping the market short button have been rewarded. The squeeze makes sense somewhere around here, right? And as I say that, while this wasn't a clear short, we're starting to push back up into it. And I don't like a slow grind price action into a level because the likelihood that that level breaks is a little bit higher. I also don't want to be longing into an H4 swing high with 40 minutes until the close. Let's go back to BTC and see what we've had here. Right, so that same outlook I was showing you guys on Solana a moment ago that I would prefer as a long. It's the same thing we're looking for on BTC, right? You'd probably even say the same thing about ETH, right? Like come down SFP this level, take out that monthly level there, boom, and look for a long. This is just low time frame shit, right? Like this is just mechanical bounces, mean reversion. I don't think that, I don't think this is going to take us up into here over the weekend. It's not looking bad on BTC here though. Okay, so it never actually came down into the M15 breaker, but it doesn't mean it still can't. If I've learned anything, is to have patience, right? That's part of our philosophy that I live by in trading, right? Process, patience, execution. The patience part is very important. We'll look at hype. We'll also look at the BingX training terminal. Shout out to BingX, hooking me up with this live trading account so that I can use it live on stream with you guys. All right, we've got to set the 10x leverage, and I'm out in here that a lot of you are probably trading with, right? Like your bankroll might be 10K. Put a K in, set it to 10x. A feature that I've found that I'm going to be making a lot of use of that I just don't really think you could have on a DEX as easily. This little button right here, chart orders. You set your TP, like your percentage, your stop loss percentage. So this is a 2-to-1, depending on if you're long or short. And I just monitor my charts, my trading view charts for the interaction I'm looking for, and just hit the open long or short, and it's going to protect my downside without me having to actually set anything up. I'm looking forward to that. Once we get an actual trade that I can use, right? Like this was that when I showed you guys on BTC over here on my trading view chart, that right there, right? Well, if you're in here, these are rolling. It moves with the price action. So I don't have to fucking move that. That's what this is. That's a dream feature that I wish that I could have on a DEX. Well, price comes down into here live. These are rolling with it. You get that market bubble on my primary charts, right? Into the moving average. Just hit the market long, 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, whatever ratio you want to have set. This is actually 3-to-1. Whatever ratio you want to have set, your downside's protected. You do nothing. And if I know like TP and stop loss, yes, I have all that via DEX platforms, but having it rolling like this and auto adjusting, I'm pretty sure I can pull and move these. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, right? And adjust there. And say you're in the trade, you're like, ooh, I think I need to close off a little bit early. I don't know what's going to, right? Now, I know you can move those things as well on other platform DEXs as well, but the fact that it hugs and it's rolling like this, and it's just that easy. Right? Right? You can just drag and move those as it's rolling, hugging price. That's a feature that I've wanted on it at a DEX. So I'm gonna be making more use of that, right? Like you can see when I drag this, it's adjusting there. I know I can do that manually on a DEX chart as well by moving and dragging TPs and stop losses, but it doesn't hug price like that. That's something that I've wanted. So I'm going to be making fun use of this platform live on our streams. Shout out to BingX for hooking up with this account that I can use with you guys live during the sessions. And don't forget, if you are looking for a new sex to use, holler at my BingX ref code, Rapture. Also pretty dope. They're partnered with the Ferrari F1 team. I'm a big F1 fan. We'll see what Ferrari can bring to the table this year. More of a competitor team fan myself, but a long-term Ferrari fan in general. So pretty dope that they're partnered. Where can I see? Let's take a look. Where can I see the main page? Yeah. Drive Beyond, Ferrari and BingX partnership. Wouldn't mind being a guest And a future Formula One event, courtesy of Big X. But we got to grow these shows. We got to grow the audience. We got to get you guys. I got to reach a larger audience. You guys got to help me grow. That's what the partnership with Big X is here to help me do, is to help me grow and teach more of you how to be consistent. How dope is that, though? Anyways, let's go back to the BTC chart. A little obligatory segment, but we are going to use that terminal live. I like it. So shout out to the Bing X team for hooking me up with that. And we'll be trading it in an environment similar to how you'd be trading it, right? Like conservative capital amounts using conservative leverage. Like 10X is very lean. They have up to 125x, which is insane. I would never use that. I would never recommend you to use 125x leverage, 100x leverage, even 50x leverage. It's not, you know. As you know, if you get liquidated, even if it's just it's an acceptable amount, like say you're using liquidation as your stop loss, you lose more than if you use an actual stop loss. You incur fees, greater slip. It's just not, that's not the way to go. Okay, let's take a look at hype, because I'm still waiting for this to come down into here. And I'm not really interested in shorting right now. I'd rather try and find a long in here. So let's take a look at hype. As per requested by my homie Munar, we'll switch to my high time frame swing layout. By the way, guys, if any of you are interested, like if you're curious about my layouts, if that's something that you're interested in, maybe I could share the layout. We'll see. My battle stations. I mean, there's no, the secret sauce is in your execution, right? Like the tools are there and available for you. The secret sauce is in your execution. So that part is on you. And I will help you figure out the execution, but at the end of the day, that part is on you. So last stream, when was it? Oh, large market buys in the M5 on BTC. We'll get back to that. See how useful these alerts are, though? They just pop off and grab my attention and my focus. We'll come back to that. So last stream on, was it Wednesday? We marked out the SFP. Now the daily actually closed above, but the H1 breaker remained, right? And this is where we've been chopping. And this kind of looks like distribution to me, though. I don't know. It doesn't look like accumulation. This looks like a bit like distribution. And what does concern me, right? We're getting stuffed at that weekly range quarter level. There's also an area of supply here. Area of supply here. We're holding within the supply. Now, weekly, we did have a bullish breaker. I'm still waiting for this pullback into here. And that to me would be, that's a long. I don't think you want to be long here. Like everyone's still super bullish on hype, and that coin's been doing great. There's reason to be bullish on hype. But we outlined on Wednesday, weekly supply into that range quarter. Possible inside week as well, right? Like if this closes within here, you'd be looking for it to, but it's already taken out that week's high. So still looking for a long down in there. Nothing's changed on that front. No real developments. Daily's kind of interesting because it did close above here, but then immediately back below. So that looks like a deviation to me, especially the rejection off the level again. It's getting a bit muddy in here. And this, on a daily time frame, aggressive market buys into a weekly level like that. Now we did hold the daily fair value gap that we outlined a couple weeks ago into this level, right? We pointed that level out. Here it is on H12. I was like, this is probably your long. Well, it did end up being the long, but you can see how this level now. And we're just sort of flip-flopping between H12 SFPs because obviously a lot of people are very bullish on hype right now, and for rightfully so, right? It's one of the best looking charts in crypto right now. I can't deny though that this is looking distributive, right? H12 SFP. So let's, okay, so we've put in a new H12 SFP here. Let's just mark that. H12 SFP. Now let's go down to the H1. Let's see, this was that H12 SFP level. So if we're going to put in a fresh H12 H1 setup, This would be your bearish breaker. We haven't closed below. But the other one from earlier in the week, it's holding as supply. And this is looking a little bit distributive. It's looking more like distribution than accumulation. Like this is people throwing on the leverage and late longing, trying to capture the remainder of the move because they feel like they missed it, right? Look at that. That's insane. And they were rewarded, right? They've been rewarded. Some of them are starting to be underwater here. These people are definitely underwater. Something I learned from Brian, I was in the stable, and he talked about this, right? Like the port in the storm, meaning the asset or the small selection of assets that everyone gravitates towards when the market turns to shit, and they outperform and look great because everyone piles in. They're like, let's chase the one thing that's looking good. And it has a fundamental story behind it, right? Like it's actual business, actually pulling in revenue, buybacks, everything involved with it. But eventually, these people here that got long through here, and also remember, a few weeks back, I gave you that H12, that weekly SFP and the H4 breaker. I gave you the Pico low long, right? Where was it? It was here. I gave you this long here, right here, live on stream, like 3 weeks ago. Remember that. Well, now I'm seeing what's going on up here, and I don't lean bullish here. I'm more bullish when we get that pullback into the weekly breaker that I've outlined. But here, you can clearly see the rejections taking place off this level. I'm not bullish hype here for an intraday or even a swing long. I'd be interested in a swing long down here. All right, that area that I pointed out, which is perfectly fine. I would still remain looking very bullish. If weekly closes like this, you get a little bit more, and then it comes down into here like next week or the week after that, you long the fuck out of that. In terms of where we are right now, I don't want to be long. I don't want to be, I never want to be the guy longing into range highs or shorting into range lows, right? Like, what do I say all the time? I'm looking for reasons to get long at range lows. Well, we were down over here. Let's clean this up a bit. Let's just clean up some of this stuff, right? Like when we were down over here, when we put in that weekly SFP, which was down here, I'm looking for reasons to go long. All right, and this was it right here. That was the H4 breaker that I said, this is where, and we were here somewhere during that stream. And I was like, this is your long. Well, fuck, right? I'm going to be looking for reasons to long or hunting longs near range lows and looking for reasons to short or hunt shorts near range highs. Simple as. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't be the guy. Don't be the people that longed this thinking it was going to new all-time highs when, come on, the market was overall telling you that wasn't going to happen. Even with hype strength, the market was telling you that. That was pretty fucking unlikely. Sorry to burst the bubble of anyone that thought that this was going to go to new all-time highs immediately. But that doesn't mean I'm not bullish hype, right? I'm very bullish hype, given that this is better than almost every other coin out there. I keep seeing lighter on the timeline. I looked at the lighter chart today. It looks like absolute fucking shit. So I don't know. I'm not on board with that call. Maybe it's basing and it's going to start turning around, but to me it looks like shit. We can pull it up too, but give a pullback on hype into this weekly breaker here. You long the fuck out of it, and then you're looking for, I'm not going to say all-time highs, but there's levels here that I can see, right? Up into here, up into here, up into, but you could take a level at a time. Right now, this level is showing you significant resistance. Don't let the timeline bully you into thinking something that the chart just isn't telling you yet. And this would be healthy. Pull back into there would be very healthy. Okay. Let's, you know what? I'm going to take a look at lighter real quick because I have seen it on the timeline a lot. And I just don't see it right now. I mean, it's up 8% on the day. It's not a bad move. So what I do see, okay. It's been down only since TGE. What I do see, H12. Let's go to daily even. Let's see what daily is like. So you're putting in a daily SFP of the lows. Not insignificant. We're into daily supply here, though. I think if you really want to think that lighter is turning, you need a significant market structure break. H12 SFPs into here. So what would that look like? Here's your H12 breaker. Now you may say, well, isn't that late? Well, no, because if it's going to be a high time frame reversal, put in that H12 close above the breaker, flip the breaker, market structure break that. Would clear this daily supply as well and come at it from the top side, long that, right? So from here, yeah, you missed this move, but then maybe you get along right about here. You're not really missing out on anything. Go to H4. Is this the H4 break? Okay, so the H4 breaker is here. That's your H4 breaker. No, that's a lie. The H4 breaker is the same as the H12. And why is that? Because this took place after the SFP. This here, right? Price came down, then it closed up. If it did that first and then went down, it'd be a different story, but it went down and then up. So this is the H4 breaker. It's the same as the H12. This would be a market structure shift level, but you're still within that. So if you want to be bullish on hype, or sorry, on lighter, right? If you want to be bullish on lighter, this is your H12 breaker. It's the same as your H4 breaker. Wait until you get a close above off of this daily SFP. Like we can go down to H1, but I just don't. Okay, so I apparently drew that out this morning when I was taking a look around. Getting alerts on BTC here. We'll check back in a moment just because I want to take a look what's going on here. So you did have the H1 breaker off the daily SFP. Retested was the long, but you're up into the H4 and H12 areas of resistance. I mean, that's already been a, like if you were trading that level and you're trading it live and you got in somewhere down there, that's a good fucking trade. Don't try and hero trade this, right? Don't try and be a hero here because I don't think there's any need to be a hero. Flip that H4, H12 breaker, then you can look for a more significant move. But as it stands right now, structure on H4. Let's mark out your H4 range. This is your structure on H4. So it's a bearish range on H4. It is a bearish range on H4. But you're putting in this here, that if you flip this and get the market structure break off the breaker, off the SFP, then my bias would be more bullish. Right now, it's just kind of chop city. So do with that what you will. I would monitor that for a close above, clear the supply. Yeah, let's go back to BTC. Let's save this for now. Maybe I should, all right, are these clear? It's in our weekly list. I think we're gonna add lighter to that list. No, it wasn't a, it's a daily SFP. We'll add lighter here to this daily SFP list. We'll come back to that later. I think we can move hype to that as well, though. some of our other weekly SFP charts from the weekly close show, but I'm not really interested in those right now. Let's go to my intraday scalping setup. Come back over here. See what's been going on. Okay, maybe we're not going to get that long into here. Like, none of this is really a trigger for me. None of this is enough of a trigger, too long or short. Would have rather gotten that pullback into the M15 breaker. Yeah, you got this M1 SFP here into these averages, but not significant enough. Just for something like that, I would have liked to have, you know, give me those bubbles into that. Maybe it's a short send up here, but I don't know. This looks fairly decent. Golden Nugget 2031 says, GM, thank you for joining us, Mr. Golden Nugget. How are you today? How is everyone today? Everyone chilling? Hope we're all surviving. Hope that's the main thing. I hope you haven't gotten yourself blown up. I hope you haven't gotten yourself wrecked. I hope you haven't been following the herds trying to time or call or knife catch a bottom, right? We just use our high time frame levels. Starting to get late aggressive buyers up here. The only thing about the lives with the live trade setups is I don't ever want to force a trade. So if there isn't something that I would personally take the trade off of, because I look for a very specific set of conditions to align. It's not always the exact same pieces that need to be there, but I'm looking for several of them to align to take the trade. M5 starting to get, okay, let's take a look at our, that's M1, where's M5, here we go. We're into the, we're like in no man's land here, right? Like, it's not a reason for me to short anything there. We're into no man's land. Flipping the M15, EMA 15. Okay, let's take a look. We're still into the H1 EMA 50 there. If I was going to look for a counter trend short, like a low time frame counter trend short here, I would look for something like an M5 SFP there, or an M15 SFP here, but we already closed above that level. In tandem with these M1 market buy bubbles, right? Oops, computer's wilding there for a second, right? Because what is the thing that would be taking that as a level off of? Well, it would be this H1 EMA 50. Aggressive buys into it, right? Like you can see how it's starting to pop off now. It's starting to pick up. The aggressive market buys are picking up here on both M5 and M1. We're into the H1 EMA 50 still. But other than that, there's like no level here. Yeah, we've got the M15 EMA 200 there, but we're trading slightly above it. What I can do is I can check on H4. Where are the faster averages, the shorter length averages? Let's see what they're doing. Okay, so we're into the H4 EMA 13. It's still below the EMA 21, which that's a downtrending, right? You're following the trend. When they flip, then it's an uptrend. Well, we're still in the downtrending, and we're sort of coming in to tag them again. It's starting to pop off up here. It's just a lot of clear air overhead, right? The only thing really standing in the way right now, and we're even above it, is the H1 EMA 50. Well, so far our H1 breaker, the only long that I saw from last night, right? We were here. We're like, well, if you want to be long right now, this is your long. Well, it's holding. Okay, so what's happening here now? All that late aggressive buying. Well, it may not be late, right? It's aggressive market buying. Where's the swing low here? Okay, well, I think if I, there is a possible short sitting up here, but it would be lose this box, short the underside, right? Lose these averages. But I would still prefer to get long in here, is what I'm saying. I just don't force a trade because that's the easiest way to lose money. I have conditions that I wait for, right? What are the things that I look for? First signal, high time frame level. From there, do I have a mid time frame trade setup, like a breaker? Off of that high time frame level, am I getting signal into a key level, like a moving average or a session VWAP? Where is my VWAP here? Where is my session VWAP? It's all the way down here. Back down to the H1 breaker. Interesting. Am I getting, okay, so we're starting to get, do I have a signal into a moving average, like an SFP? But I like those to give me a little bit more, right? Like there was no high relative volume there, right? The bars are not filled. There's no high relative volume. No late. Okay, so we've flipped that. We've flipped that level, right, into the H1 EMA 50. Starting to reject off to the M15 EMA 15. A lot of late market buyers into the average. I don't know. I'd rather get the long down here. Now, for that to happen, the short has to play out. It just hasn't lost any of these. Right? Like if the M1 is still trending upwards, right? Like the low time frame, if that hasn't even lost trend, don't fight the trend. Oh. Oh. I would like to see some closes below here. Maybe it touches here and then it bounces up into here for a short. Yes, it's rejecting here right now, but this is still holding. The M1 trend is still holding. Oh my goodness, it's an hour and a half deep already. I do have a hard stop today. My little girl's got a performance that I'm gonna go watch. Looking forward to that. You know, maybe this was the short. It's just we're still holding these here. So we're starting to lose them now. What does this have to do? Yeah, I mean, very, very realistic. Fuck. If we get a bounce back into that box, I'm going to take the short. If we come back up into there, maybe M1 SFP's that. Give me a bounce back up into here. I'm going to take that short. How's everybody doing in the chat? Can I get a GM if you're still with me here on this Friday morning? Large market buy in the M5. What is that all about? Okay. Give me something up into here. I'm gonna go short. Munar says GM. Thanks, buddy. Our call the other day was good, man. I enjoyed that one. Did you end up watching the recording? Did you able to get more value out of it? Okay, we're underside testing. Underside testing into those fast averages. I would still like to see a pop up into here. Give me an SFP there. Nice. You got your indicators and templates all set up, right? That's part of the job. You got to have everything ready so that when you show up, you can just do your work. You're not worried about having to do all the back end maintenance type stuff. Okay, we're watching for a reaction up into here. All right, so as I'm watching the chart live on TradingView on another screen, right, I've got this open. You can see how this is floating. It's hovering hugging price, moving with it, which, damn, that's a really sweet feature. I'm not gonna lie. That is a sweet feature. Really helpful. Awesome, man. That's awesome. That was a great call, man. And you know what's good about it too is it had been about a month. So Munar joined me on a boot camp that I ran. And it had been a month or so since the boot camp ended. And we had a final Q&A one-on-one feedback call. It was good to get back into everything and review everything because it keeps it fresh for me too. Like I talk about this stuff here on stream, but obviously we went in way more detail and way more in depth and way more granular. So it's good to open those conversations again. Just solidifies it further for myself, right? Like if you're learning how to trade, if you're still into the earlier stages of your journey, you're trying to get to that consistency, an exercise that you can do that you'll find incredibly valuable and useful is find a friend or a relative, someone that will sit with you for like an hour. They don't even have to be interested in trading, but explain it to them in simple terms. If you can explain it, then it solidifies within yourself your understanding of it, because just thinking you know it is one thing, but actually having to explain and talk someone through it, it really embeds that knowledge. JJGM. Come on, give me a pop. Give me a pop. Give me a pop up in here. Come on. I'm going to wrap this up soon, though. We just had the H4 close. Let's check in really quick on ETH. See if it SFP'd or closed above. It closed above. Closed above, right? That's why we were waiting. I'm not rushing that. What's going on here? We're still getting large market buys on BTC on the M5. Oh, are you not going to tag it? Come on. Come on. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Just come in. Come on. Give us a trade here. Give us a trade here live. Come on. Yeah, I could, should I have taken that? Maybe. This is one of the drawbacks of being live is I don't have my full view like this up and in range, right? So as this is happening, I'm switching between screens. Whereas if it's just up and open, I'd be like, well, we're into the H1 EMA 50. Yes, I talked about that, but having it in real time like this so I can see everything makes my decision making, my split second decision making a lot faster. Okay, so we're pushing up. We're starting to push up towards here. What I'm looking for would be, I see a swing level there. Maybe it's an M1 SFP into there. Maybe it's another large market buy bubble into there, right? It's not just a blind short. Oh, just spat a little bit. Computer monitor. And this is why we have patience and we don't chase, right? We were down here and I was like, I think, I don't want to chase this. I think the better short would be from up here. Let's just see what we're getting here. Okay, we're into the box now. We're into the box now. Showing Showing selling, stepping in. Has it taken out that level? Did it take it out? Okay, so it did SFP that level there. The indicator's not picking it up, but I can see that it SFP'd that level there. Okay, I'm in the short right now. I'll let this play out a little bit. Right, and I'm monitoring price live here. If it starts to give me, if the price starts to develop and I don't like what I'm seeing up here, I will cut early. Right, like you guys can see here, we're in the trade. Again, it's a 1K account they hooked me up with that I'm using 10x leverage on to simulate how you guys might be trading the market. You can dial that leverage right up, but you know, I don't like anything beyond 10x. Well, we're in that short right now. But I will not hesitate to cut if it starts looking unfavorable. We're still getting those large market buys into this region. We're above that M1 SFP level now. We've come up above it. We are hugging the M1 trend. But as of right now, I am in the short. Let's let this unfold a little bit. It was super smooth, by the way. I just used that chart orders with the bracketing, hugging of price. All right, use that tool where it's hugging price. That was, and it was in instant execution, which was pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. Come on. Come on. Give me that drop. Again, as I mentioned, the preferable trade is the long down here, but to get there, it's going to have to come down, right? And this is where the likely spot for that would be. I don't like the slow choppiness. Give this another couple minutes and might have to cut. Not loving the slow chop, the slow grindy price action here. Not loving how it's just slow grinding up. It may just pop through. We'll see. Ah, okay, I'm out. Short was not meant to be there. It's okay, we'll hunt the next setup. Maybe it's going to be off of this here. Okay, I'm back in the short. This seems like an area for the local high. Come on. Come on. Yo, Plato, what's good, my dude? Maybe I'm just stepping in front of this for no real reason. It's doing that slow grindy thing. How are you, Plato? Good to see you. It has. Thank you for joining. It has been good. Good to see you. Okay, we're above that breaker now. We're still getting those large M5 market buys up into here. Yeah, I'm not stepping in front of this. I close that again. I don't like this slow grindy action up into here. I really wish we would have gotten that long down into here, but it did not happen. There's still a chance for the short here, but let's take a look. What's going on? M15. Yeah, we're getting all these aggressive buyers into the area. Just hasn't been an SFP or anything into here yet. I think trying to step into front of this is foolish. I really wish that this move down here would have given us the long. Just got to be patient. Got to be patient. Okay, well, we're coming up close to what my hard stop time is that I need to go and get ready for my daughter's presentation at school. We'll wait a few more minutes, see if we get something here. Does anyone have anything else, any other questions? If not, I am going to wrap up shortly. Approaching that 2-hour mark as well. Okay, lads. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I got to get going. It's been a pleasure as always. Hope you're staying safe in the market. Hope you're not getting yourselves chopped up or putting yourselves underwater. We're getting close to that better swing trade opportunity on the high time frames. And in the meantime, just do your best to maintain consistency, stack up those wins intraday so that you have the capital to deploy. I know it's been a rough couple of months for a lot of people, right? We had 10-10 and we had the last week. Not the easiest conditions to trade, but if you approach it from our high time frame levels, low time frame interactions approach, we get trades all day, both directions. Just unfortunately wasn't a high time frame level we came into today during the show. Maybe what I'll have to do is just, for some of the future streams, for some of the future sessions, is just wait until I get an alert into one of my high time frame levels and go live really quick in that moment. I'll figure it out though. I will figure it out. Once again, I am Rapture. This This has been Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions, the New York Open Show. I want to thank everyone that joined me live during this session. We went over BTC ETH, Sol Hype. We looked at Lighter as well. We did a walkthrough of the BingX trading terminal, which is pretty damn sleek, I'm not going to lie. Don't forget to use the code Rapture at bingx.com on sign up and you get those bonuses. And as well, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate each and every one of you. And on that, I will catch you next time.